The analysis of Miami GP. Candidly and to be sincere, is one of the most uninteresting GP of the season. We've had 4 GPs and this looks so tardy. It's not interesting, seriously. Just like the 2023 season with a more dollar version. Congratulations to Kimi Antonelli and Mercedes. Great job from Kimi Antonelli. Aside from that, I think the stewards, the cars themselves made it tough to bear. I'm sorry, I'm saying that from the depth of my heart because it looks like a sorry ass race. And I think for the weather, even if they had run the race 9 p.m. that the race was meant to be run, there will still be no rain. They moved the race forward to 6 p.m. West African time because they said there will be rain during the race. But all through the race, there was no rain. After the race, there was no rain. But before the race, during the F2 feature race, there was rain. A funny thing is this. I think, I'm not saying it is, probably God has left America because it was just a confusion. First race in America looks so dull, uninteresting. Talk about the officiating is a wish-wash. The cars, the yo-yoing just got worse, as in you see cars losing power, gaining power, so erratic. And you can't really say, oh yeah, this is the battles. They are like AI battles. I keep thinking about it's just like giving me vibes of everything is just artificial. I just have to be vocal about it. Everything just looks so artificial. Kimi Antonelli had another bad start, struggled. Max Verstappen proved he's Max Verstappen again. Spun by turn 3, got the car back, pushed himself, went on hard tires early in the pit stop because of an infringement from some drivers. That's Gasly and Aja. He went into the pit. He changed his tires early and was able to finish with those tires. I think we can now see why the FIA are not ready to give the Red Bull ado because it looks like they're on par with the Mercedes engine. That engine is fast. If the Red Bull team can capitalize on upgrades that will match the speed, that car is a championship winning car. On over 30 something to 40 laps tire, he was still able to maintain his pace and he came home fifth, got ahead of Charles Leclerc on the last turn. It's crazy how they're able to hold up. Isaac Kaja lost his car, a very terrible situation for him, and I think he'll be able to get over it after some time. Pierre Gasly and Lawson, two people that have been a menace in the present Formula 1 driver setup. Lawson and Colapinto are a whole mess. They thrive in shenanigans. They thrive in trouble, especially Colapinto. Colapinto can make a whole mess of people's race and most times he doesn't get penalized for it. I don't understand why he doesn't get penalized for most of the things he does. His incident with Lewis Hamilton pushing him off and destroying some part of his car. We've seen that not given to some drivers, but we've seen it given to some drivers. That's part of the inconsistencies of the stewards today. Probably they will say it's a Lapon incident. Lawson locking up. Gasly was just going on his own, no issues, no problem, and Lawson just ran into him and was like, hello guy, Alpha. Destroyed his race, almost knocked him head off, and he had to retire also because he destroyed his own car. Oh god, a terrible one. Well, the biggest gainers, McLaren, Mercedes. What a race for Kimi Antonelli. Lost position, came back tactically. McLaren indecisive again this year. That was what could have made them lost championship last year, their indecisiveness, because Red Bull traded Sergio Perez for Lawson and for Yuki Tsunoda. Red Bull, Max Verstappen could have won his 5th championship last year because McLaren were so inconsistent. Yeah, but anyway, they won it. So, story for another day. McLaren's inconsistencies came again yesterday. Antonelli got the position, and running in clean air with this new generation of cars, you have advantage. Probably setup issue between the two Mercedes. Antonelli is able to maximize the potential of the car. At first, during the weekend, we thought Mercedes have lost his place to McLaren, but Mercedes are still the benchmark. In the eyes of Kimi Antonelli, they are still the benchmark. That car is fast, very fast, and we saw that Kimi Antonelli coming back today dominated the second part of the race, and up from there, he got a challenge from Lando Norris. He was unfazed because I think that boy has very stubborn, great, wonderful head on his neck, and he did a great job to fend Lando Norris off to win the race, and he won the race 43 seconds ahead of his teammate George Russell, which is a great one. George Russell has his issues during the race, but I don't know. George Russell needs to get his head back into position. He's losing it. He's not really in sync with himself, and it's showing in the way he's racing. To the McLaren boys, great racing for Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. Lando Norris looks like somebody that has found himself. Terrific job for him. great job. And Oscar Piastri did a good job. He was able to finish third, lap the Ferrari, got himself in good position, and that was it for him. He did a good job. And I think we've seen that over the last season. Oscar Piastri rises into the season. I think he will get better with time. Probably going to Montreal, in which a lot of people would have understood from the data they have how to maximize the potential of the car going into Montreal, which is an hybrid track. I expect McLaren to do a good job. The Mercedes are bringing huge upgrades, so we should see how the upgrades will work. Maybe to create another 5/10 to 6/10 away from the pack, but the pack has really punched up, but they are still the benchmark. Good job from them. To Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton, aside from the accident, I think Lewis Hamilton needs to get himself back. Probably the cause of the Kardashian, I don't know. He had the first 3 races running beautifully. The Miami GP was a shambolic GP for him. Aside from the accident that he said he was losing about 15 points of downforce, that is crap. You can't be 16 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen and losing such pace. No. That is unacceptable. Yes, the car has been damaged. You are losing downforce, but not against Max Verstappen that was like 16 seconds behind you. No. I think Lewis Hamilton needs to get his head back into the game. Forget about, he's getting old. Yeah, I know. But I think he needs to focus on himself, because if he needs to win races, if he needs to prove himself in Ferrari, he needs to win against his teammates. Winning does not come in qualifying. It comes on main race days. Lewis Hamilton needs to buckle up and do his job. Charles Leclerc got a 20 seconds penalty. Towards the end of the race, he lost it and he spun, lost some part of the front, draggily drove erratically, which we saw last year. Lewis Hamilton also was penalized in Singapore last year for such. But his is just worse. He got George Russell and Max Verstappen overtaking him. George 2 corners to the end of the race. Max right on the last corner to the end of the race. But he got 20 seconds penalty for all his driving effort on that last lap, which takes him from 6th to 8th. I think he lost his head. And this is the first time in a long time that I've seen Charles Leclerc lost it like that, and he nearly botched his own race. I don't know what is wrong with him. Maybe it's the car, but I think Ferrari needs to understand their upgrades, because if teams are copying Ferrari, some of the things they are doing, which means Ferrari knows what they are doing, they're on the right track. Why are the drivers acting like spoiled babies? Why are they not focused? What is wrong with Charles Leclerc? He struggles, he grinds, he gets everything right for qualifying. Coming to races, sometimes he just loses it. Ferrari needs to find a way around that car and also get their drivers in line. Max Verstappen, he had the 5-second penalty for driving erratically in the pit lane. That was when he wanted to change his tire from medium to hard. What was he thinking? With all his experience, with all his understanding all the rules, I think Max Verstappen too lost it there. Those are points in the race in which look so crazy, as in you're like, what is wrong with these guys? What is wrong with this race? The race looks so shambolic. US race with US problem. I think that is one of the effects of Donald Trump in the race. First to third race of the season, we had Red Bull in the league of Alpine and Haas, but now they've moved ahead. They are now in the pack of Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull now. So we can see a 4 wheels battle. But unfortunately, Alpine is right in the game. Williams are getting close to them. But Alpine today had the bad luck from Pierre Gasly through Liam Lawson, and also Colapinto had one of his best finishes today in 7th position, although he needs to be spoken into his head. But great racing for him. 2 Williams were in point, 9-10. The car is still overweight. I think the car with the heaviest car on the grid, and they can come in with the points today. First point of the season for Albon. Great racing, good points, and perfect one in Miami for them. Sergio Perez gave us some Arctic racing as he was able to challenge Alonso and some people in that their back end point, and great one for him. Alonso, for Perez, for Bottas, in spite the car they are in, they are struggling. They are able to put up some good racing for us, which makes a whole lot of sense. Ocon, Bierman, good one, but I think Ocon can do better, especially wash it out of his qualifying and focus on what he needs to focus on. That would be a great one for him if he can focus on that. Congratulations again to Kimi Antonelli, the youngest leader in the Drivers' Constructors Championship. That boy is doing a great job, and I think, like I said 2 years ago when he was introduced to us, said this guy is going to be a problem, going to be George Russell problem, and that is happening. I think he has a whole year not to prove to us, but to tell us that, remember that name, Andrea Kimi Antonelli. What a young man, what a driver. That is a new problem Formula One will be facing the next few years, because that guy is a generational talent. He is just too smooth, and I hope Mercedes can keep giving him that car and that confidence he needs to race, because That is the future of racing. I think he's in the league of his own. You can't compare Kimi Antonelli with the likes of Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen. He's just in a different league of his own. He's different from them. Tough, young, intelligent. He's a great leader. The next race will be in Canada, Montreal. Catch you guys. But before the time, we'll be releasing a lot of videos, shorts to analyze what happened during the race. But one of the most difficult one is especially the Max Verstappen call that was attended to after the race. It took them over 1 hour to attend to something they can't see. I think on the steward side, they made the race though like 2 or 3 calls like that until after the race. It doesn't make sense. But great one, though a dull race, but we manage it. Catch you guys in Montreal. Up until the next one. I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.